Oh, yes.
Welcome back once again, everyone. Today I'm very excited to bring you a review for the brand new Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom number 4, Cheetor. Cheetor is the first of the new Deluxes being brought to us in Kingdom, and he is an update to the original design from Beast Wars. Admittedly, I'm a little skeptical to how well he's going to pull this off. From photos I've seen, I don't know if he quite nails the straight update aesthetic as well as some of the other Beast Wars characters. He seems more of a reimagining, but we'll see once we get it open. So if you've seen my reviews before, you know how this goes. We're going to take a look at Cheetor in his packaging. This is the first time looking at a Deluxe class package from Kingdom, so it'll be interesting. Then we'll open it up, we'll see his map piece. He comes with some sort of like choose your own fate type card thing, which is a new feature for Kingdom. And then we'll see Cheetor himself in both his beast and robot modes. We're doing some comparisons and group shots today. And then at the end of the video, I'll give my final thoughts. So Cheetor comes with this new style packaging. It's the same overall shape as the Siege and Earthrise packaging for Deluxes, but it's got a much smaller window. And this is apparently part of Hasbro's whole initiative to use less plastic in their packaging, trying to be more eco-friendly. Or at least that's their claim. Probably just trying to save money because paper's probably cheaper than plastic. But anyway, you can see you got about half of the toy showing right here. You can see his upper body. Can't see the weapon, must be down in the bottom. You get this nice picture of him in Cheetah mode on the front, and then around the side is robot mode. So even though we're getting a smaller window with which to see the toys, it is cool because now you're just getting a render of each character in their alt mode and robot mode. So that's pretty sweet. It's one like continuous thing of artwork too, so I like it. I approve. The little peg flap thing that these toys normally have is now it's done in the same cardboard, but I think it's reinforced with plastic. Yeah, it's got a little bit of plastic, so I don't know. They're not really cutting down on plastic by doing that, but at least it's more substantial looking than just a clear one. A little Maximal symbol up there, which is neat. The top of the packaging, you can see there's this bit of stone with like a Maximal cave drawing on it. Looks like some sort of glyphs or runes or something up here. That's neat. I'm not sure what that is. All right, here you see Deluxe class. On the back, you get renders for the toy, and they look pretty faithful to the final product. The blue is a lot deeper on these renders than they are on the finished toy, and that really bothers me. That's one of the big things that has me a little skeptical about this toy. I just feel that the baby blue color they're using on the finished product just really is way, way too light for what's supposed to be an update to the classic design. You know, Cheetor's original toy and show model used a much deeper shade of blue. I mean, the artwork has it look a lot darker. The renders definitely look darker. I wish his colors looked more like this. I don't know why they went with such a very, very light shade of blue for him. It's not accurate, and I don't know why they couldn't have just done a different shade. It's really confusing to me. But anyway, you can see the renders, beast mode, robot mode. It takes 20 steps to transform, so he's no slouch, that's good. And you'll notice he has a tail weapon, like an axe, which is very similar to the weapon used by his Transmetal form in the Beast Wars cartoon and toy line. And that is one of the big complaints people have with this guy is he doesn't come with his classic weapons, right? He normally has his gut gun and like some other tail-based gun or something. And they swapped that out for a melee weapon. I'm used to the returning characters and generations not having all or any of their classic weapons and opting for something else, so that doesn't bother me so much. Like, yeah, I would prefer the guns, but at least the weapon they chose has some precedent, right? It's not just like some random accessory that came from nowhere. It's blending his regular beast and transmetal forms together, so it's something. It's a nice little Easter egg. So there's that, and then on the side, we get the new side panel for Kingdom, where you can see you get a lot of Predacons up here. You get Black Arachnia, Scorponok, Megatron. Not sure who the smaller figures are. You have the Nemesis, which is the Decepticon ship, and you have Unicron, and then you get a big old shot of, it's like a split image between Galvatron and G1 Megatron here. And then down here you get Rhinox, you get Dinobot, you get Optimus Prime and Bumblebee for some reason. Then Optimus Primal, Cheetor, Rat Trap. You got RC, I know she's in the toy line. Air Razor, Tigatron. And you get the Ark crashed on top of a volcano, which is interesting. And this may be why you're getting these like time travel-y hijinks between G1 and Beast Wars characters, because normally the Ark crashes into a volcano, not on top of it. So I don't know what the storyline is going to be. We're speculating that the G1 characters are going to wake up during the Beast Wars and thus change the events of the Beast Wars, but we'll see. I am curious about the Bumblebee thing, because as far as we know, he's not in Kingdom. Unless you do count that buzzworthy Bumblebee that comes with Spike that, I mean, uses kind of the same art style as Kingdom, but just says War for Cybertron. Maybe that's supposed to be the Kingdom version. I don't know. So yeah, that's our new packaging. Overall, really nice. I do dig it. It really implements those same colors and tones as a classic Beast Wars packaging, so you know I'm all about it. Love Beast Wars. So here is the Fate card included with Cheetor, and interestingly, it's of Black Arachnia. So we know that characters don't necessarily come with their own cards. So in this case, we have Black Arachnia, calls her a Predacon, which is accurate to, you know, how she started Beast Wars. And it's got this really cool foil thing going on here. Very nice. This is what the back looks like, and it's the same back for all the cards. It's got a picture of the golden disc on it, Kingdom logo, all that. And then the way these work is this foil bit's actually a sticker that you can peel off. I'm trying to do it very carefully. It's a little foil sticker. See that underneath? And then you get this little holographic new image right here. And this depicts Black Arachnia. It's just her box art. But you can see here, it's got the Maximal symbol now. And right there, it's an ancient Autobot. And let's see, this says becomes a Maximal. So that shows one possible fate for Black Arachnia, which, as we know, is her fate in the Beast Wars television series and all that supporting media. So it's interesting because what this tells us is that that event may not come to pass in this new timeline. So very interesting. Now, it should be pointed out that this foil sticker here can be placed back on the card if you so choose. And I don't really want to throw it out, but I don't want to cover this up either. So what I think I'm going to do, since the backs of the cards are all the same, is I'm going to put the foil sticker on the back of the card. And that way, I can just, see both images. I'm going to do that off camera for a minute because I need some precision. All right, so I did that, and it's a little off center, unfortunately. See a little bit overhang here and here. That's a shame. I tried to fix it, but the sticker apparently adheres to the back of the card much more tightly than it does the front. So that's not going to come off without probably doing some damage now. So I might be stuck with it like that. So it's up to you what you want to do. You can leave it on, flip it, however. Now we move on to the instructions in that beautiful Beast Wars black and green. Got me so nostalgic, guys. Get the render of Cheetor here. You get his name in both English and Ancient Autobot. Nice Maximal symbol. And we get another render of the toy. How to give him his tail axe weapon thing. Kind of doing it backwards. It's not very useful. And then just a transformation from robot to cheetah. So they seem to have abandoned the whole tech specs from Earthrise altogether. Aren't doing that anymore. That's a shame. But pretty simple transformation. Last bit is you plug his tail in and you get a cheetah. So let's look at that cheetah. Here we get the beast mode. And you can see it's a very, well, mostly realistically proportioned cheetah. A lot more so than the original toy. And he looks very neat. Not too much exposed robot kit. Well, the worst part is the back of the legs there. But the original had the same thing, and I think even the Masterpiece does, so can't fault it too much. I'm not really sure why they went the direction they did with the eyes. So they gave him the just straight orange eyes, which is actually accurate to one of the versions of the original toy, because they had a few different eye colors. And I'm pretty sure orange was one of them. Or maybe not. I think it was red, blue, and green. I forget, he had like 3 different variations. But they're going with that old Beast Wars trope of just the plain light up eyes with no pupils. I'm not sure why they did that for him, because I mean they're supposed to be going for realistic beast modes, and Yeah, I don't know. Weird choice. They should have given him pupils. Really, they should have made the eyes green, but no, well. But you can see the spot patterns are very well done, so that's nice. As far as articulation, he's got a decent amount. It's mostly concentrated in the legs. So the shoulders, they're on ball joints, so they can move around a lot here. You got his little elbows, wrist articulation on a ball joint. Hind legs, they can go, back and forth a bit, though it kind of breaks the illusion when you pull them out. Got some knee bend, back and forth, and then ball jointed ankles. Tail doesn't move, and the head doesn't move around, but the jaw does open and close. And you can see the nice bit of paintwork here on the underside, the belly, where it's a lighter, kind of off-white shade. So he's not just all yellow, so that's a really neat touch. And yeah, his paintwork definitely shines in cheetah mode. This is really where they concentrated most of the paint budget for this guy, which is unfortunate because we'll see that in a few minutes. All right, now we get a comparison with the original Cheetor mold. This specifically is the 10th anniversary version, so it's got some paint differences from the 1996 toy, but it's mostly the same, except for the oddly placed Maximal brand on his cheetah shoulder. And the biggest difference you'll notice right off the bat is proportions. This guy does not really look like a cat. Kind of looks more like a honey badger, spotted honey badger. And he's got a big old cannon sticking off the bottom of his chest there. So he's very solid, but again, the beast modes were very much not the focus when they did the original Beast Wars toys. They were kind of secondary to the robot mode. Not in every case, but in a lot of them. I mean, look at his ridiculously huge hind feet. It's like Sasquatch feet. So yeah, the original Cheetor mold really did not have a great beast mode. Did have a lot of paint, as you can see. They got more spots on them than the new one does. But the new one definitely outshines in terms of just animal accuracy. And even though he's not cartoon accurate, he's a lot closer to the cartoon's proportions than this thing is. Not to mention this thing's mostly a brick with just the hind legs moving. So yeah, they've come a long way with that design. Here's a quick shot with Cyberverse Chidor, who is the most recent take on the character. And you can see he's very much a reimagining, where he's not an organic cheetah anymore, he's a robotic one, and he's only got spots in a few places, really. And very stylized, right? He's part of that Cyberverse aesthetic, which is some kind of weird mix between, like, I don't know, animated and robots in disguise or Prime. So, I don't know if it's really a comparison so much, it's just, these are the two newest Cheetors with two very different styles about them. And one more group shot, we have Cheetor along with just kind of his in-fiction evolution. So you get the Transmetal form, Transmetal 2, and Beast Machines. Now to be fair, this is actually the Armada Cheetor, which is a light retool and heavy redeco of the actual Transmetal toy. But that's as close as I got, so sorry. Never managed to get the original Transmetal, which is a shame because it's such a great toy. But yeah, just to give you a little visual history on the character and how he changed over the years. Now it's time for us to do our transformation. So the first thing we're going to do is remove the tail weapon. So it just wriggles out like so. Plugs in via a 5mm post right there. You also get the little extra post for a display stand. So stretch these hind legs out. You want to push the heels of these robot feet. Just pop them out a little bit. And push his cheetah feet like all the way up to become the shin pieces for his robot legs. Same thing here. All right. Then let's go ahead, just kind of move his cheetah legs out of the way. You're going to separate his underbelly. Just kind of pull it apart. It's formed by his robot arms and little shoulder kibble here. Let's do that. Let's bring his arms up, like so. All right, then you're gonna take his little cheetah jaw, push it all the way back to the point that it looks like it absolutely hurts. And you're gonna swing this little double hinge assembly down until this post goes in this hole in the roof of the cheetah's mouth. Just bring it all in. You feel it push in there nice and firmly. Take these side panels, lock them in completely. And you're gonna take his head, you wanna tilt it back rotate it, and put it down. Bring the arms down, straighten everything out here, turn the fists around. Get a nice natural position. And now, for the Cheetah Legs. They don't give you really specific instructions on how to pose these things, but if you want them to look more or less show accurate, you want them to cross over each other a little bit. Something along these lines. That's about the closest you'll get to show accuracy. So you do that, and you can make him hold his tail weapon. Like so. And here we go. This is the new Cheetor. Nice and posed. Make sure the feet are nice and straight here, all that good stuff. All right. Doesn't want to work with me. Okay. So this is Cheetor's new robot mode. And I have to say, again, I'm really mixed on this. Something about his torso, just it doesn't look right. Looks really off. His arms, his shoulders seem set too far back. And, you know, it's a pretty big deviation from the original way of doing things. Granted, you know, it still hits the major beats. It's got the cheetah head chest, though it still just points forward like the original toy instead of facing down. And he's got like the rounded shoulders. He's got the shoulder like shell kibble thing, cheetah legs in the back. One thing that's new is that the shins of his robot mode are now made up of part of the cheetah legs. So that's different. His feet are quite a bit smaller. So he's much more athletically proportioned, but he probably takes the most design liberties of any of the new Beast Wars figures. And I think maybe they stretched it a little too far with, you know, how much we're willing to look past when they're reinventing the wheel here. As far as posability, the head is on a ball joint, so that's good. Shoulders, you know, they have your universal joints here. You get a little bit of forward swing because of transformation, which you might need because, unfortunately, you can see here he's got serious clearance issues. His kibble, it just doesn't swing far enough back to really stay out of the way, especially on this side because you have the tabs sticking out. You could swing him back about that much, but overall it's not perfect. It doesn't quite do the job. So just be aware you may have some clearance problems. He's got single bend elbows. He has wrist swivel, so that's good. Got waist swivel, full waist swivel. Got universal hips, single bend knees, thigh swivel, and ankle rocking and tilting. Tilting's a little tight, so you may have to, you know, make sure you press on it hard enough, but it'll go. And yeah, that is his robot mode. All of its glory and maybe lack of. So my biggest problem with this new Cheetor, it's not even so much the changes they made to the design and how the transformation works. It's really the paint. It's specifically in the robot mode. He is so very plain looking. First of all, I already expressed that I think the blue is just way too bright. I mean, it's baby blue, and I don't know why they decided to go with such a light shade. But also, he's utterly devoid of gold paint apps, which, you know, was something that was very prominent on his robot form. You know, this should be gold, there should be gold like on the feet, you know. And I'm not a huge stickler to where if they don't get the paint like every single place it needs to go, I'm not gonna give him too much flack. But there's just no gold on this guy at all. He's very plain looking. And I hate that because Cheetor had such a cool, ornate design. And I know it's not a fair comparison, but when you compare this thing to the Masterpiece, which I sadly don't have, though it is a wonderful figure. In fact, I think Beast Wars is about the only thing that they do well in Masterpiece these days. I mean, the difference in detail is just almost painful. And I know it's a different budget, we're talking something else, but a lot of the new War for Cybertron stuff feels like a mini Masterpiece. This guy does not. He doesn't feel like he hits close enough to home to really warrant that title. To me, he's a lot like the Universe Chidor, the '08, you know, reinvention of the wheel there, where they were trying to nail, you know, the original look of the character with going with a whole new transformation scheme, and it looked weird, it looked alien, and it does so again. So I'm not super crazy about his robot mode. It's not terrible. It's by no means a terrible toy. And as far as quality of an action figure, it's better than the original figure, but God, I feel like they could have done so much better with this guy. I feel like he's going to be a low point in Kingdom. Speaking of the original toy, here that mold is again. And you can see what I'm talking about with the much deeper blues. Now, this is actually a little too dark, but I would still take this over that. This looks very Cyberverse to me. This is the gut gun and the tail gun that we mentioned. And again, I think it's a shame that Cheetor comes with neither of these in his new incarnation. Now this toy, you'll notice it also doesn't have gold paint apps, and you'll notice it's got a lot of inaccuracies compared to the show model, but there's a major difference. The show model was based off of this toy and then took artistic liberties. This is supposed to be based off the show model and in ways looks even further away, so not great. Plus, this one has that cool mutant head feature. You guys remember that? Here, check it out. Rah. So, I mean, I don't really feel it's necessary. If they could work it in without compromising the toy, sure, but I'd take paint apps over that. So, this is a good way at looking at how that design has evolved over the years. It's a shame I don't have the Universe 08 one to compare, but, at least you see beginning and end. And yeah, this is a better figure overall, as far as action figures go, as far as Transformers go. But he just doesn't feel as premium. He doesn't feel as substantial as even this old toy. Here, just because I showed the beast mode, I might as well do the robot. This is the Cyberverse Chidor toy. And again, very different art styles with these guys. They're not supposed to look the same. Obviously, this one's way more orange, but you can kind of get what I'm saying, how this guy feels like a Cyberverse toy with the overly bright colors. It feels off. He feels more at home with this figure than he might some actual Beast Wars toys. Here's a quick shot with Armada or Transmetal Cheetor. I just really wanted to highlight the similarities in the weapons. They really... You can tell they were inspired by this, right down to the shape of the blade, having a little post on top. Even the curve of the handle that becomes the tail is almost a one-for-one, replica. So, yeah, again, I do appreciate that if they couldn't keep the same weapons, at least they gave him a weapon that works for him, that he has some precedent wielding. Of course, I think this means we'll probably never see a new Transmetal Cheetor. I think Season 1 appearances are pretty much all we're going to get out of War for Cybertron and future generations. It just seems like too deep of a cut for a series that is now, just about 25 years old. Who knows? I'd love to be proven wrong. I mean, we did get Optimal Optimus in Power of the Primes, as flawed as that toy was. So maybe they'll surprise us and we'll see something besides just the OG cast in their original forms. And one more group shot. We get the evolution of Cheetor again, this time as robot mode. So, original, Transmetal-ish, Transmetal 2, Beast Machines, who just towers over his prior forms. I will say, Transmetal 2 Cheetor, probably one of my favorite Beast Wars toys of all time. Even though he's very simple in terms of transformation, he just looks so cool. I mean, the colors, the design, that's like perfection. I'm honestly not sure whether I prefer him or the Tripredicus Agent recolor they got from Walmart. But yeah, I just want to gush about that guy because he's so great. Alright, enough of that though. I think that pretty much covers everything I wanted to say with this new Kingdom Cheetor. I may have come off as overly negative in this review, and I don't hate this toy at all. Like, I really don't. It is a good toy. It leaves much to be desired from a very enthusiastic Beast Wars fan. When I saw the Optimus Primal design, the Black Arachne design, all these, even Rat Trap, despite him not being perfect, really felt closer to home than this. I feel like Cheetor, just too much was compromised, either because of part count, paint budget, whatever. He doesn't feel right. The transformation feels way too different from the original. I mean, Optimus Prime, as many times as they reinvent the wheel on him and sometimes use faux parts, the overall transformation is largely the same, because that transformation dictates why the character looks the way he does. Here, they made a lot of changes to it, not all of them for the better. I really hate the empty look of the side of his torso here. Nothing to flesh that out. He looks very unfinished. And yeah, I think as much as he is a good toy, he's probably my least favorite of the currently revealed Beast Wars cast. So, it's hard to say. Obviously, if you want a new Cheetor, one that has current engineering standards for posability and all that, and you don't want to use the Masterpiece because he's out of scale with your Chug collection, then yeah, pick him up. He's good. He just could have been much, much better. And I think the third wave of Netflix toys is going to have Cheetor in it, and I really hope they fix a lot of the coloration issues. I hope the Netflix Cheetor has, a darker blue color scheme. Maybe they'll give us, something nice and recolor maybe his eyes, give him the gold paint. That's really all that needs to be changed as far as paint. They're not going to remold him, at least not likely. So just darker blue, green eyes, gold paint, please. That will take the figure from like meh to good. Not amazing, but good. So yeah, that's how I feel about the new Cheetor. But now what I really want to know is what you all think. Do you feel I'm being too harsh on this guy? I'm being overly critical, or my nostalgia glasses blinding me? Or do you somewhat agree? Do you think this toy could have been a lot better than it was? Do you have any other criticisms aside from the ones I pointed out? I'd love to know what you all think in the comments section. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to toss it a like. Let YouTube know you want to see more stuff like this. If you do want to see more like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you always get a heads up when I post something new. And thank you for joining me for this look at the brand new Transformers War for Cybertron Kingdom Deluxe Class Cheetor. And with all that said, I will see you next time.